Sawubona and welcome to another video of Poet Reacts. My name is Zewande BK Bengu and I will be watching some poetry videos and reacting to them. I will be trying to break down some of the poems and hopefully along the way we can learn something and have some fun while watching poetry. Today's video is a performance by Crystal Valentine and it is called Black Privilege. Before we do that, please do leave a thumbs up, and if you have not already, please do subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, but you can also follow me on all of my other social media platforms. And let's get into it.
On evaluating Black privilege. Black privilege is the hung elephant swinging in the room.
Oh, that's writing. She subverted a phrase we already know, the idea of an elephant in the room when there is something that we are not speaking about. But what she's done is she's extended on top, maybe she's not subverted, but she's extended on top of that. She's added layers on this idea. Now it's the hung elephant swinging in the room. Oh, that's beautiful.
Black privilege is the hung elephant swinging in the room, is the memory of a slave ship praying for the Alzheimer's to kick in.
Oh, there she's referring to this idea of Black people constantly being asked to forget the days of slavery, to forget the days of apartheid, to forget the days of lynchings and burnings and tortures and those hundreds of years of, Black people just absolutely being dehumanized. I think that's what she's referring to.
Black privilege is me having already memorized my nephew's eulogy, my brother's eulogy, my father's eulogy, my unconceived child's eulogy. Black privilege is me thinking my sister's name safe from that list.
My understanding from that is Black lives die so meaninglessly. They could die just by going to the shop, and we've seen multiple videos of people being stopped for normal traffic things and they end up dying. Black people dying senselessly, so it's almost as if we're just born to die. So at the moment we are born, we memorize our eulogies. This is just a personal opinion. If I'm wrong, you are more than welcome to comment and let me know where you think I was wrong.
Black privilege is me thinking my sister's name safe from that list. Black privilege is me pretending like I know Trayvon Martin on a first name basis. It's me using a dead boy's name to win a poetry slam.
Okay, Trayvon Martin was a young man in the United States who was murdered, and there were no real ramifications for his murder. Black people in general, particularly in the United States, they can personalize the pain because there's an understanding that that really could have been me, or that could have been my brother, or that could have been my father or sister, or you understand, someone like Trayvon Martin or George Floyd. It's really easy to speak as if you really knew him personally like this, because when yourself you relate so much to his Blackness and that experience.
Basis is me using a dead boy's name to win a poetry slam. It's me carrying a mouth.
That kind of awareness within the poem, that I'm still in a poetry slam and I'm saying his name because there's an understanding that if I say his name it will get me more points because it means I'm socially aware. So maybe this poem in itself is futile. That kind of meta take to it is just, that's amazing, man.
Using a dead boy's name to win a poetry slam is me carrying a mouthful of other people's skeletons to use at my own convenience. Black privilege is the concrete that holds my breath better than my lungs do. Black privilege is always having
concrete that holds my lungs that holds my breath better than my lungs do, because people end up laying on the streets dying. That's just I'm trying not to stop as much, but this is just gold, man.
Concrete that holds my breath better than my lungs do. Black privilege is always having to be the strong one. Is having a crowbar for a spine. is fighting even when you have no more blood to give, even when your bones carried you, even when your mother...
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, there are multiple studies that have been done by multiple universities and other institutions where in medical centers and medical institutions, they attend less to people of color and particularly black people because they are believed less when they say that they are in pain. So this is why a lot more black women die giving birth, because the doctors or the nurses, whoever is supposed to be attending them, believe them less when they say it hurts. Socially, there is a thinking that black people are people of endurance. We are people who have endured so much pain for hundreds of years that we naturally have tough skins and we can take on a lot. So we are expected, even when we can't, we are expected to continue fighting. We are expected to continue doing and giving, and so I think that's what she's alluding to here, and that's what she's saying here.
Holds my breath better than my lungs do. Black privilege is always having to be the strong one. Is having a crowbar for a spine. Is fighting even when you have no more blood to give, even when your bones carried you, even when your mother prayed for you, even after they prepared your body for the funeral. Black privilege.
Fighting even in your grave. Yeah. Essentially, if we're really looking at it, George Floyd was fighting in his grave.
When your mother prayed for you, even after they prepared your body for the funeral. Black privilege is being so unique that not even God will look like you. Black privilege is still being the first person in line to meet him.
Man, there is this idea in Christianity that we were all made in the image of God, but it seems that maybe some of us were not made in the clearest image of God. Maybe some of us seem to be off-brand images of God, So he does not attend to our prayers. He does not attend to our suffering.
Black privilege is still being the first person in line to meet him. Black privilege is having to have the same sense of humor as Jesus. Remember how he smiled on the cross? The same way Malcolm X laughed at his bullet, and there I go again, asserting my black privilege, using a dead man's name without his permission. Black privilege is a myth.
Again, we're going to this meta idea, this sense of awareness of this is still a poetry slam. That's just amazing.
Privilege, using a dead man's name without his permission. Black privilege is a myth, is a joke.
I think that's really the crux of the poem. The idea of black privilege. Black privilege is a myth. It's a joke. It's like it really does not exist. These are the sufferings that we experience, and based on these sufferings, black privilege does not exist.
It's a joke. Is a punchline. Is the time a teacher asked a little boy what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said alive. Is the way she laughed when she said there's no college for that, and it's tiring,
The performance and the writing really come together really well. She started us off beautifully nice and slowly introducing us to these ideas, using these grand heightened metaphors. She is right now at the height of the performance. In terms of what she's saying, she's nailing the performance.
Tiring, for everything about my skin to be a metaphor, for everything black to be pun intended, to be death intended. Black privilege is the applause at the end of this poem.
Man, I love that she keeps going back to this idea of like the awareness of the space and where this poem will really be.
The applause at the end of this poem is me giving you a dead boy's body and you giving me a 10, is me being okay with that. And I tried writing a love poem the other day, but my fingers wouldn't move. My skin started to blister like it didn't trust me anymore.
Man. When you've gone through a lot in life and you've seen a lot and you've heard a lot of suffering, it becomes so hard to really write about soft and gentle things. For a long while, I struggled to do it. This is completely relatable to me.
My skin started to blister like like you didn't trust me anymore. Like you thought I was trading in this noose for a pearl necklace. Some days I'm afraid to look into the mirror for fear that a bullet George Zimmerman its way into my chest while I was asleep.
Earlier she mentioned Trayvon Martin. The gentleman who murdered Trayvon Martin was George Zimmerman, and now she's using his name as a verb, and it really just gives some gravitas to what she's saying, because the bigger idea is that sometimes I feel like I've been senselessly murdered. She's almost using his name as a verb, and at the same time as synonymous to senseless murder, where there will be no culprit.
Mirror for fear that a bullet George Zimmerman its way into my chest while I was asleep. The breath in my mouth is lucky enough to scare a courtroom. I'll be lucky if I'm alive to make it to the stand. For some people, their trials live longer than they do. Black privilege.
Okay, so that might be a reference to Sandra Bland and people like Sandra Bland, because Sandra Bland was an American black woman who was taken into custody and supposedly committed suicide while in custody, but you know, there are suspicions that there was foul play there. But there are multiple cases where people have been taken into custody and the trial might still be going on. There might still be a court date, but they've essentially died while in police custody. So I think that's what she's referring to here.
To the stand. For some people, their trials live longer than they do. Black privilege is knowing that if I die, at least Al Sharpton will come to my funeral.
So just so you know, Al Sharpton is a civil rights activist in the United States, and he's really been one of the people in the forefront of civil rights activism in the United States.
At least Al Sharpton will mason jar my mother's tears, remind us that the only thing we are worthy of is our death. We are judged by the number of people it takes to carry.
Okay, so let's just go back. I want to appreciate something here. I'm not sure who shot this, but this performance is really well covered when it comes to just the shooting and the camera work that went into it. I mean, the shot alone is amazing. It reveals something beautiful, because I had not seen it all throughout. This is really well put together.
Sharpton will mason jar my mother's tears, remind us that the only thing we are worthy of is our death. We are judged by the number of people it takes to carry our caskets. Black privilege is me thinking that's enough. It's me thinking this poem is enough. Black privilege is this breath in my mouth right now. It's me standing.
It's this breath in my mouth right now. So the fact that I'm still alive is a privilege.
It's this breath in my mouth right now. It's me standing right here with a crowd full of witnesses to my heartbeat.
Strong ending, strong ending. I think when it comes to the suffering of black people in history, you can look at photographs. There's often witnesses, and I think what she did at the end there is almost to say, this is me suffering while I'm performing this poem, is me kind of reliving those traumas through this performance, and you are witnesses, just as there have been witnesses in the suffering of black people in the past. This was absolutely awesome, and I think this is a perfect example of a poem that does not really follow any form, or does not really follow kind of any syllabic rhyming scheme or anything like that. No acrobatics, but comes out beautifully. Damn, that was nice. But that's it for today's video. Please do leave a comment telling me what I may have missed or what you might have learned, but also do recommend more videos that I need to be watching in future videos. You can inbox me on all of my social media platforms, and do leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Click the bell icon so you get a notification every time there is a new video. Until next time, thank you for watching, and bow.